Welcome back. Perfect timing. It's been a while since we've had our buddy Joel Block with us. Crypto Joel's with us today. We'll be talking about all the things that are going on with the new administration and its impact on the economy. Joel is a financial expert, venture capitalist, founder of Bullseye Cap, and you can go to joelblock.com is the website, joelblock.com. Brother Joel, good to see you, man. How are you?
Harry, how are you?
Good. Happy second day.
You know what? It is a happy day.
What do you think? Do you think the golden age, we're going to see it?
Well, I'll tell you, I sure liked a lot of things that I heard yesterday. I like the idea that the United States is the most powerful country in the world, and we're going to start acting that way. You know, it's very bothersome that we haven't acted that way for a long, long time. We haven't gotten a great amount of respect from countries around the planet. And now that's about to change. And I really believe that what Donald Trump says is so. Listen, I think he's on the right track, and I'm very happy about it.
The Paris Climate Agreement, he pulled out of that yesterday, pulled out of the WHO yesterday. Those two alone are trillions of dollars. How does that impact us?
Well, several things. Number one, the climate deal is really about regulation. I mean, the more regulation that we place on our companies, the less competitive we're able to be. Other countries don't have the amount of regulation that we have here in the United States. And I'm not saying we should eliminate all of it, because there's an important place for government. But over the last 50 years, the amount of regulation has really crept in slowly and accelerating over time into a situation that makes us anti-competitive. And that's bad for the American economy. It's bad for American consumers. It's been bad for American workers. And that's really all about to change. And part of the reason in 2017 to 20, during his last administration, 21, the reason the economy was so strong for those several years is not only that he reduced taxes, but he also reduced regulation and red tape. And that makes a very big difference.
Do you think there'll be a slow market response to the new administration or an immediate one?
I think it's going to be fast. You know, the day that he was elected, the world started to change. People started flying to his place in Florida. Things just started changing immediately. If I was a foreign country listening to that speech yesterday that he gave after the inauguration, I'd be really worried. And there is reason for them to worry, because we are going to push our weight around in a big way. Donald Trump doesn't need to use the military. He's very smart. He's going to use a deal pen, and that deal pen is going to make a lot of difference.
What do you think of the External Revenue Service?
Listen, that's what I'm talking about. That's the deal pen. And, you know, what we're talking about is using tariffs. And, you know, part of what happened during the election process, the campaign process, the Democrats called that a national sales tax. That, well, if we tax these countries and we tariff them, that our prices are going higher. That's not entirely true. Number one, it's not a national sales tax. There is no national sales tax. What we're really trying to do is move production from one place to another place and protect workers and protect our factories, protect our manufacturing. And that doesn't necessarily have impact on cost. It might have impact on cost, but I think that there are ways that Donald Trump can negotiate it so that it does not. Because let's say that we reduce the amount of cars coming in from China, Donald Trump would say, look, we're going to protect you, but you have to promise us that you're not going to raise prices by more than so much, or you're not going to take advantage of the situation, the opportunity that we're going to provide to you. I think that we're going to move a lot of manufacturing to the United States. It's going to make the economy very robust. It has very positive impact, not only on the economy and our consumers, but on the national debt overall. Lots of positive things happening.
So what's the Joel Block prediction for inflation and interest rates?
Well, interest rates is hard to say. You know, as inflation comes down, so will interest rates, and I'd like to see them come down. I'm not. They went up very, very fast. They're not coming down quite as fast. I'd like to see them come down. I really believe, I'm very bullish on what's happening right now. I think that Donald Trump is going to do a lot to really straighten out some things. The fact that we're going to become tremendous net exporters of oil and energy is very significant. I just think that we're on the right track.
So there's two things here that, well, actually, most of what he's talking about is going to hinge initially on the price of energy, which will have a residual effect basically on everything. But we also got to get home ownership affordable. Where do you think that comes in?
That's something I don't know how they're going to fix that. Without making homes, very small, modular construction using different kinds of techniques. I don't know how they're really going to address this issue in a reasonable way. I think the idea of a family neighborhood, the way that we know it now, you can't force the market to change the price. So you have to change the product that's in the market. And I think that younger people are going to have to adapt to something different, maybe like townhomes or condominiums or modular housing, tiny houses. I mean, something different is going to happen in order to meet that requirement.
All right, I want to come back to tariffs just for a moment. People yell and scream about these. If I understand President Trump and reading The Art of the Deal, tariffs is his biggest bargaining chip in most of these situations. I don't see them permanent, but I do see them initially. Or am I missing something?
Well, he may not even need to use the tariff at all. He may just want to use the threat of the tariff. So if he says that we're going to impose a tariff on February 1st, which I heard him say, for Canada and Mexico, that rushes Canada and Mexico to the table, the bargaining table, and gets them to start coughing up whatever the president needs. You got to remember, Perry, we're the largest consumer customer of just about every country out there. We're buying enormous amounts of things. And we used to talk about the trade balance. We don't really talk about that too much anymore. Many years ago, that was a really big issue. That we would expect that if we bought 100 from you, you'd buy 100 from us, and that's what would happen. But that's not what happened. We'd buy 100 from you, and you'd buy 10 from us, and that happened all over the world, and that was the trade imbalance. Well, these tariffs are a way of rebalancing the scales. We're such big consumers of everybody else's merchandise and whatever they sell that if we say to them, listen, we're going to raise the price 25 or 30 or 40 or 50%, which basically means that our purchasing of your materials is going to drop like a rock and we're pretty much going to put you out of business. In business, that's called concentration. When you're heavily concentrated and you have one customer, that's a terrible risk in business. And auditors are always looking for concentration risk. Countries don't really pay as much attention to this, but a lot of these countries are subject to concentration. And because of that reason, when Donald Trump says we're going to tariff you and we're pretty much going to stop the flow of money into your country and you're going to go broke, that will bring them to the table and get them to cough up anything that he wants fast.
So what do you think happens to the value of dollar through all of this adjustment?
Might get stronger. I mean, the United States, we might get stronger because that's, we're going to throw our weight around in a significant way. Everybody else's currency is going to devalue because the United States is holding all the cards.
Do you think eventually the debt gets addressed and actually goes down?
I think it does go down. I think that there's 10 different things happening that are going to address the debt. We sort of simplify, we oversimplify it. We say, well, we have to raise taxes, cut spending, and those two things have to happen, and that makes the debt go down. And that's true, but those things can happen in many ways. So if tariffs bring in more money, if the economy gets stronger, if DOGE starts to cut expenses and those types of initiatives are all taking place and we're making money on oil and we're charging, if all these things are happening all at the same time, which I believe that not long from now a lot of these things will start happening, then the debt gets addressed automatically. I'm not sure why there's so much emphasis on raising the debt ceiling because unless it's a short-term need, because I really do think that a big part of what's going on here is to fix the economy in a long-term way. So there's a lot of social re-engineering that's happening, but there's a lot of financial re-engineering happening as well. And those two things seem to be at the top of the ticket in the platform.
President Trump stuck his toe into the crypto business for a little bit the other day, and value went through the roof, and then others went down. I know you're a little bit of a hawk on this. I'm not there yet, but what'd you think of it?
Well, listen, J.D. Vance, our vice president, is a multimillionaire. He owns a lot of cryptocurrency. Trump has recently gotten involved in cryptocurrency. In fact, they just released these new meme coins, and a meme coin is sort of a collectible. It's like an invisible collectible. Unfortunately, a lot of these things they go up real fast and they come down even faster. And it's a transfer of money from one person to another. My understanding is that the Trump family owns an awful lot of the stuff that they're selling, which is probably improper, but not illegal. And so that's kind of where it is. But Trump is bullish on crypto. It's interesting. I read something the other day that his son Barron had a lot to do with him going on the podcast that he did that helped him get elected. His son Eric helped him pick the vice president. So he's surrounded by younger people. In some cases, much younger. I don't know how old his son is, but his son's got to be very young, his younger son, maybe 20, 21 years old. And he's taking their input, and he's listening to them, and that's helping him to be, a very modern person. And that's, really playing well.
Good stuff. Well, Joe, it's good to see a smile on your face.
Hey, listen, always good to see you, Perry, and
You're the man. All right, let me say to our viewers and listeners, go to joelblock.com. That's his website. There's a picture of the landing page. Yeah, he provides a lot of resources there, so check it out, joelblock.com. Thank you, Joel. Good to see you. Look forward to many visits. Going to be a fun ride for the next several hundred days and see how it goes.
We'll do it, Perry. Take care.